Welcome back to Arior's Night. For an entire year, I did what every expert tells you not to do, and I stopped posting content online. I had reached a point in my creator journey where I really felt stuck. Everything that I tried to do never seemed to catch the attention of the algorithm in a meaningful way, and it felt like I was starting to plateau. I didn't know what else I had to offer that would appease the internet gods, and consequently, I was really at a loss for what to do next. As I continued to deal with this dilemma, doing research online and trying to improve my skill sets in whatever way I thought was possible, I started to feel guilty. I wasn't guilty in the sense that I'd done something wrong, but rather I felt like I wasn't doing enough, even when maybe I was already enough. Because it's one thing to be liked by those around you, and another thing entirely to be liked by the algorithm. And man, is that a really tough and tedious thing to please. I really would not recommend it at all. But because of that, I became more conscious of the invisible requirements that I was supposedly supposed to meet, like having a novel concept, entertaining your audience, having an attractive personality, and most importantly, be clickbaity, but not too clickbaity. It was overwhelming to think about this all the time, even though some of these things are just basic human being things, right? Be a good person, share what you love, enjoy life. But because it was through this very algorithm-pleasing lens, I quickly found myself at odds with my content. And I started to think and question, couldn't I just create what made me happy? Why did I have to change who I was to be understood by the algorithm in the first place? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I really felt like I was drifting away from what drew me to content creation in the first place, which is meeting cool people on the internet and doing cool things. So I decided to stop. I took a break from the internet, an indefinite hiatus, which is really scary in this very fast-paced digital world, and I let the world move on without me. It was actually kind of nice. There's something reassuring about the fact that nothing really important rests on your ability to post something on time or make an entertaining sketch that maybe only a handful of people will ever see. And it really makes all the worrying about trying to be the next big thing seem irrelevant and small in comparison. Of course, if you're dependent on content creation to make a living, that's a different situation entirely. But for me, at least, I was able to fully disconnect and decide what I, and not some uncontrollable mess of code and numbers and anything else that goes into an algorithm. I didn't need that to control me. I was able to decide what I wanted to do next. And suddenly, starting over didn't seem as scary as I had initially thought. In fact, starting over is a good thing. And yeah, I said it. I said the name of this video. If I hadn't started over, I probably wouldn't be so excited to insert the silly little reference breaking the fourth wall that really will probably only make me laugh. And that's because I have no real expectations right now on what checkboxes I need to tick to satisfy the internet gods. Starting from a blank slate allows you to remove yourself from any pressure to meet a certain criteria, because there's nothing to compare yourself to. Literally nothing at all, and I think that's really exciting. It's like picking up a new video game or TV show. You'll never know if it'll be the next big thing that you'll rave about to literally anyone you meet, or the worst thing you've ever done with your life. Hopefully it's more of the former rather than the latter, but this uncertainty of not knowing how something will turn out is filled with a lot of potential. And no matter which way it goes in the end, you can be proud of yourself that you tried and learned something new. Isn't that what life is really about? Finding what makes you happy? I think the internet has conditioned all of us to view reality through a distorted perspective of likes and followers and all sorts of artificial metrics that don't exist in the real world. Because that'd be very dystopian of us if they did, wouldn't it? Anyways, starting over really lets you disconnect from this mindset because you aren't drowning in consuming all this information and trying to make it work for you in real time. Instead, you can take a step back and selectively pick what you want to affect you and your decisions. In other words, what is your North Star? What do you really want out of your life online? Only you get to choose what will satisfy your objectives, and I think we forget to exercise that ability enough. That's really the beauty of a fresh start. Success is relative. Anything you decide to do is a new achievement, and sometimes that incremental success can be even more rewarding than getting to that seemingly impossible milestone that you've always dreamed about. Let's just say you started a server for people to play games on. I'd imagine you'd be really happy if even 5 of your friends were online at the same time, and you all got to go on some cool and epic adventure together. Maybe slay a few dragons, loot a few dungeons, and so on and so forth. Now, compare that to if suddenly your server blew up and had over 1,000 people trying to play, to the point where you've reached the server limit. It'd be really cool to say that your server was in such high demand and maybe even went viral online, but maybe then your enjoyment of the game begins to decrease, because now you have to manage with moderating all those people and their expectations. And what happens if there's a sudden drop-off in players after a while and it dwindles down to nothing? How would you feel then? Instead of focusing on your personal enjoyment with your friends, you've now probably begun to focus more on maintaining a number and a lot of overhead that you probably didn't expect to manage in the first place. What does this really say about the way we view success online and what truly makes us happy at the end of the day? Sometimes we need to take a step back to realize what metrics are worth chasing after. You'll never start from zero either, so give yourself the permission to restart. Just do it. If you want numbers, there's at least one person you know who would be willing to follow and support you on your journey. And if you are afraid you aren't good enough, well, showing up and starting is half the battle. Having the confidence to continue and persevere and grow is the other half. Let yourself make mistakes and become excited about learning how to become better. Instead of seeing everything you've done wrong, maybe flip your perspective and see what you can do right the next time. Starting over is a good thing, and it's not as scary as we might think. It gives us another chance to reevaluate our priorities and explore new things that make us happy. If there's something that you've also been conflicted about starting, don't get caught up in worrying about what will happen when you haven't even started yet. Instead, focus on the feeling of excitement and possibility and take action. Milk it for all that it is worth. And let me know how it goes if you decide to take that leap of faith. I really wish the best for you. I know that as I record this video, I am also really scared to take this first step. It's one thing to have dreams and think about it constantly, and it's another thing entirely to take that first step and publish something into the unknown. At this point, like I said earlier, I really don't know where this is going to go. I do know, actually, I have a plan, I have a vision, but I really don't know how the world will receive it. And, that's okay. Even if one person enjoys it, myself, I will have a good day, and this will be a good video. So with that said, thank you for tuning in to Arior's Night. Wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is for you, I hope you have a good one, and I really look forward to talking to you again soon.